The book of Proverbs, verse 20. From the fruit of their mouth a person's stomach is filled. With the harvest of their lips they are satisfied. Christian connoisseur. So today I wanted to make a video called Solo Leveling. It's an anime. Honestly, I thought it was pretty cool. So before I get too heavy into this, what I think I want to do is, I think I'm going to put it maybe more towards the ending of the video to people who actually care about that stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about my break. Maybe I'll make a different video for it. And I'll just give some of my thoughts and my opinions about some stuff. And I think I'll try to make the video itself. I don't know how long I'm going to make this. I haven't made a video in a couple months. So let's just start this off with like a positive affirmation. Like, no, this video is going to be successful. It's going to win. We're going to achieve victory. Everything's going to be good. And it doesn't matter what other people think. We can be independent, and we can have independent thought. Glorify God. As a Christian, we'll glorify God because God is good. So there are also a lot of good things about it, and there's also a lot of bad things about it, but that's also life, right? So the main character, he basically starts out as like nothing, and he has to work his way through it, and he has to have some kind of perseverance and faith, and he has to push through, and then basically he has to learn how to how to get good. And it's a world based around like the idea of almost like an RPG style world set in the real world. And like there's like a level up system that he has, and like he has a lot of very specific special privileges and power as an individual over other people. So the basic plot: in a world where hunters, human warriors who possess supernatural abilities, must battle deadly monsters to protect mankind from certain annihilation, a notoriously weak hunter named Sung Jin Woo finds himself in a seemingly endless struggle for survival. Starting out earlier on in the anime, and there's going to be some spoilers, but not going to be like heavy spoilers. They join one of the first dungeons they show is they have this being, and basically they call him like, they have like these things like these like 3 commandments, and they call this being like quote unquote like God, and it has some kind of like religious reference to it. It was a pretty perverse, sick, and twisted thing though. But basically they had to follow 3 sets of commands in order to make it through the dungeon. And basically it also just like brutally and violently basically just killed like half of their party team initially, and then it slowly but steadily basically just whittled away the vast majority of their team until only a few members remained. And basically they got out of the dungeon. Like the handful of the main characters got out, but the main character initially was going to die. He died basically, and like there was some Christian references to it. It's a little bit subjective, I guess, but basically like he died and he was like reborn again. It was like some kind of like new life. He was given a second chance in life, and he goes from being this like he starts out as like an E rank hunter, and he goes from an E rank hunter to basically gaining the ability to become like, he has the ability to level up. That's called solo leveling. So he starts to get strong, he starts to get good because of it. And like there was some like cool opportunities for redemption, and like he demonstrated a lot of really great qualities. The only real problem that he had in life is that he was just kind of given a bad hand of cards, and like he just needed an opportunity. So he got his opportunity, and then he started becoming great. So which is, I think, like a pretty big negative thing. And the main character gains this skill abilities, and basically he has the ability to like reanimate different like corpses or dead enemies, or at least he has a chance to be able to. He can summon them under his control, and some of it comes off as a little bit almost demonic. So that is a huge like potential red flag. I'm not saying that's like a deal breaker, but it's something people should be careful of, right? Is spiritual darkness is a bad thing. But I also think if you use discernment, you can I feel like a person could watch almost anything, but you still got to be really careful. And like certain flags are kind of dangerous, right? So necromancy is one thing. Another thing is there's a lot of blood and there's a lot of violence, and it's like really brutal at the same time. So these are things I feel like a person needs to be careful of, and you need to be like a little bit aware of. And like it's not like that big of a deal, I guess, but sensitive people should at least be careful of it. So I would say overall, it's a pretty cool series. And it's a pretty cool concepts and aspects to it, but there's a few things a person should at least be careful of. And like there is some like strong potential positive stuff to it. Like it teaches some like perseverance and being strong and kind of learning how to get good and having like a little bit of some faith and like thinking on your feet a little bit. And like sometimes, it's like you got to just push through the difficulties and the discomfort to basically to become stronger. And that people who are nobody can still be successful even versus people who are great. Maybe you just need a little bit of an edge or some help in life, but you can still do it. I think that's a good thing, right? Sometimes we need a little encouragement. The world is a very hateful place. There's a lot of malicious, just ruthless people who just don't care about anyone but themselves, and they don't give you any kind of love. Sometimes you got to push through it, right? Even when it's unfair, you still got to push through it. And I think that's an important thing. And it's also the idea of being more independent. It's maybe you don't need the validation and the approval and the support of everyone and everything in your whole life. And that's okay, right? And you don't have to always rely on everybody all the time. And there's also times where it's okay to rely on other people. I think that's another aspect of soul leveling, right? It's like learning to push past a level of dependence. Starting out the world, he basically was solely dependent 100% on everybody else. He couldn't do anything. He could barely even fight. He had no capabilities in life. And eventually it's no, I don't, this is a bit of an analogy maybe, but basically the hand of God blessed him with a second opportunity. And with his new opportunity, he had the power to kind of live his own life the way he wanted to live it. And I think that's a good thing. Now, you got to be careful too, right? Be careful with your pride. You got to be careful with a lot of this stuff. But at some point in life, sometimes you just got to learn to step on your own 2 feet and be a little bit more independent. And be a little bit more capable of relying more on yourself, kind of pushing yourself out a little bit, right? And, learning to become great. It's striving for greatness. I think that's a good thing. That's a good Christian message. Also in holiness, glorifying God. Okay. Now, I don't know if I want to make this video too much longer. I haven't really made a video in a while. So, and I guess a few other things is, there was a few moments, I guess you could say there's some lust. There's a few moments where some some a little bit morally gray stuff. It's a little bit subjective, but it's also a show meant for adults. So if you're an adult watching an adult show, it's not that big of a deal, right? It is what it is. But I do believe in the moral virtue of purity. As a Christian, it's good to follow values. And there was a couple moments. So I'm not gonna go heavy, description or something, but there was one of the times where where he was in his he was in a hospital, and there's a couple nurses, and basically he was investing a bunch of points into strength, and these two I think it was 2, maybe even going on 3 hospital like nurses there, were like really like turned on. They saw his body was like ripped, and they were like salivating at the mouth, and like their body was like a little bit like some pink on some spots or something, and they were like they really liked the guy, right? Their faces were kind of like, a little pink. They're very just turned on, right? Which, I mean, it was actually kind of an interesting scene. Seeing woman like a man, right? It's a lot of times men like a woman, but seeing a woman like a man, that was interesting, right? So it's like, at one point, one of them asked for his number. He doesn't think much about it, but like, it was a little bit sexual, and like maybe went a little further than that. But that's just, I mean, that's not always a bad thing. But I mean, I feel like people got to be careful at the same time, right? I mean, there's pros and cons. But like purity is a good thing too, though. And there's nothing wrong with like enjoying like dating and stuff too. Not the same. That's important, I think. And even if a main character uses darkness, it's like you gotta always be careful, right? You always gotta, in your mind, draw like a hard line in the air and be like, that's evil. Evil stuff is evil, and on the other side, good stuff is good. One of the strongest aspects about the series, I guess I would talk about, I was talking about a little bit earlier, is the idea of independence, right? And also as a Christian, you don't need the world's approval. You don't need everybody to like you. And a lot of people will just hate you, and they will disagree with you, and they will just dislike you. And going on social media, they'll just blast you in the comments. They'll downvote you. They'll hate you. They'll make videos. They'll just be mad at you, right? And it's okay. You don't need their approval, and you don't need their validation. And you don't need every single person on the entire planet to always like you and to love you and to support you and encourage you on everything. And it's okay, right? Like being independent. So it's like picking your battles and deciding who you're going to like or not like, or who you're going to support, or who you're going to let in and not in, right? I think that's important. So it's like, this franchise, it's like, again, he fights the battles by himself, and sometimes he also uses his abilities to help other people, and that's a good thing, right? So I think this is an important thing in life. Okay, so I might spend a couple minutes here. I'll just give some basics about maybe like I've been taking a break for about 2-3 months. I think I'm going to slowly start coming back. I don't know how fast I'm going to come back. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do or not do exactly for everything. But here's at least, a video that I've made. And yeah, even some of the stuff I was talking about here, I think a lot of stuff is important in life, including myself. And I think here's some things, right? Now, I might talk about it a little bit. I might make a post or something. It's like, I don't want to turn my channel into like a soapbox where I'm constantly just talking about my real life problems all day long. And there is a lot of wisdom and value to having places where a person can go where, like, say I make videos or I'm on my channel, I don't have to make everything about myself. I can draw some healthy boundaries and some healthy guidelines, some healthy standards, some healthy, it's just healthy, kind of like I can draw some lines and just kind of push some stuff out and keep some stuff in. And I don't have to share everything in my life. And I think that's something I need to do more. And that it's okay, right? I don't need to explain every single thing in my entire life to every single person all day, every day. And they will be okay. And like, I don't need every single person to tell me everything either. And it's okay. I think that's completely healthy and that's completely fine. I do have 3 videos I wanted to work on. So I had this one. I might make another one for solo leveling at some point, but there's this one. I wanted to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And then I also was thinking about making a video about, I guess the idea of like stuff like purity and honor and stuff like that when it comes to, I still have to figure out the name. Like using some of these words, I don't know if YouTube's going to flag me or not. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, but I guess the idea of like sexual purity and honor. There's objectifying women, and there's more like being virtuous and stuff like romance. And like maybe some stuff about dating and some stuff like that. I might make a video about that. I don't expect it to do very good, but I want to glorify God, and I think I also need to do that, right? I need to dedicate my content to God, and I don't know how much it's really going to be fully Christian or not, but I still want to glorify Him either way. So it's been a while since I made some videos. Let me know what your thoughts are, and if you like this video, do you like this kind of a style of video? Which do you like more? Do you like it when I use video game background footage, or do you like it when I use like a still picture with no music in the background, or do you like the music with the video, or do you like just a plain picture with no background for the most part? Which one do you prefer? I might do a little bit of some both. I think there's value to both, but we'll see. So I just wanted to say thanks for watching the video. I appreciate it. God is good.